Samantha Steele with us here as well. And the Hurricanes back in the red zone. Might be in position to just about put this game away. Draw play to Lamar Miller. And that's a big stop for the Georgia Tech defense.
Give them a touchdown. I guess the bottom line, Bob, you do what you do best if you're Georgia Tech. But this is a critical drive.
Corey Harris, second and long. Avoids the sack and throws it away. So it will now be 3rd down and 15. Ajon Cross just about got to. Allen Hurns in motion, 3rd and 15. Here comes the blitz. They try to set up the screen and can't get it set up. So now instead of maybe a 37-38 yard field goal, if it was just a simple run play, it will probably be about a 41 yard field goal, and it'll have to come from field goal. Jake Wyclaw hadn't missed this season before that block. This one from 39 yards out. And he's got it. So the lead is up to 3 possessions with 13:55 to go. In cruise control against Georgia Tech, 24-7. And by kicking the field goal and making it a 3-possession game, the Miami offense did its job as Georgia Tech, with the way, Coach Davey, that they're forced to play offensively, such time-consuming drives without the explosion plays. Really, a field goal was as good as a touchdown on that last possession.
That's exactly right.
Orwin Smith brings it out from a yard deep. Down at about the 13-yard line as we check in with Reese. Now, Reese, it's a great point, and we've got a new quarterback in for Georgia Tech. St. John Days takes over for Tevin Washington. He'll drop back to throw and unleash a deep one down the sideline, looking for Stephen Hill. Hill can't make the tip ball catch. Mike Williams tested for the first time today, man for man, with Stephen Hill, as we take a look at the redshirt freshman from Powder Springs, Georgia. We have not seen much from St. John Days so far this year.
Well, you're obviously, even with the triple option, in a more of a throw first, run second kind of game. And Tevin Washington really struggled, I think, with his confidence. You know, he threw the first interception, first play of the game, interception. I think he's struggled since then.
Out to the perimeter, Tyler Melton breaks a tackle, and he's out of bounds with a first down.
Let's see if St. John Days gives him a spark right here.
Those 2 pass attempts by Days, his 6th and 7th attempts of the season. Here's a quarterback draw, going nowhere. Darius Smith tosses down St. John Days, and that'll be a loss of about 6 yards for Georgia Tech.
Yeah, they try to come with the quarterback draw, but you're just going to see a lot of penetration by Miami. One thing with Miami, always, even though they've had a lot of injuries, 98 Darius Smith, always great-looking defensive lineman. I mean, they're down a couple guys right now, but they still look good in person.
Design rollout for Days. Cuts it back up inside and gets hammered down. The ball comes out. There's a pileup for it at about the 30-yard line. Miami thinks they have a loose ball. Denzel Perryman blasted St. John Days. Days did lose the football, and Georgia Tech turns it over. The Canes have it back. Anthony Chiquillo comes out of the pile with the loose ball. And St. John Days still hasn't gotten up. And it looks like, is that Denzel Perryman that's also down? So Denzel Perryman, with the hit on Days, the ball pops out. Both of those 2 players were shaken up. Was he down by contact, or does the ball come out first? That ball's loose. And for the 4th time in the game after the turnover by Georgia Tech, Miami begins a drive in plus territory. Lamar Miller. He might have lost a half yard. Quarterback. So Corey Harris in Miami, 2nd down and close to 10. Harris will put it up. Checks down underneath. Tip ball and an interception. Atachu comes out of the pile with the ball as it went right through the hands of the fullback, John Calhoun. It's the first half of their loss to Kansas State.
Yeah,
Tevin Washington back in a quarterback.
That one shouldn't be on Ja'Cory Harris.
Check down play to Orwin Smith, and he picks up maybe a yard. You're exactly right, Coach. Up the middle goes David Sims.
Been impressed, though, with this Georgia Tech defense. They said one thing you can count on, Al Groh will be up there all night game planning and scheming for this game.
Third down, Tevin Washington finds a way to get it to Orwin Smith. Short of the first down. It looked as if Smith held on. Now they're going to say it's an incomplete pass. I think he makes this catch. I think he's got his right hand under the football, and I think he is able to, with that right hand, get it in between the ground and the ball. That's a catch.
The nose of that ball hit the ground just like you do. That explains it.
Review, the play stands as called.
In a three-possession game where you had to figure Georgia Tech would go for it. Now they'll kick it away. Sean Poole with a wobbly punt. This one fielded on a line drive, fair catch by Philip Dillard at the Miami 35-yard line. Al Golden's got some fans here in Miami. They wear their ties now to Canes home games as Miami's got the 24-7 lead. Fear the tie. Al Golden, what a job he did taking a Temple program that anyone in the Northeast, if you ever told them they were going to be 500, they'd be amazed. And he turned them into a bowl team. Scooting through is Lamar Miller for about 8 yards, but now Al Golden, you have to do what makes mom happy. 2nd and 2. Ja'Cory Harris again to Lamar Miller. I wear a tie for every game we do each. He and I are simpatico. I've got a lot in common with him.
I thought he looked pretty good. You kind of.
James right up the middle. First down Miami.
I'll tell you the thing about Al Golden,
He's as interested as I am about your upcoming Al Golden point.
I'm a little nervous now.
1st and 10. Here's Mike James. Yeah, you better make it entertaining.
Yeah, well, just back to my point about Al Golden. I saw him as an assistant coach. I'm a he's a worker, and that's why he'll be successful. I hope that satisfied Reese's curiosity right there.
I think Reese was with bated breath listening for that story. That was a good story. As Miller gets in the 45-yard line, and inside the 45-yard line, it'll be 3rd down and about 2.5 for Miami. And I think the field will bring you today's Game Track, brought to you by Bud Light. And those special teams problems early in the game cost Georgia Tech dearly. JoJo Nicholas with the return for the touchdown, and Sean Spence also today, Coach.
Yeah.
All over the field.
Yeah, these Miami linebackers, all of them have played well, and you got to give credit to Mark D'Onofrio, the scheme of letting those linebackers attack. He didn't take away their aggressiveness by just sitting there. He's plugged the linebackers. It's cleaned things up for Spence to run out with. They have never been able to establish that today against Miami.
Lamar Miller has a first down. Down to the Georgia Tech 32-yard line before he's brought down.
I think they're going to finish strong.
Again, it's Miller for about 4 more yards. Well, I thought he wants his defense to show up as that being their brand, and that was what he called it. He said, that's our brand, as Ja'Cory Harris checks underneath to Benjamin. And Benjamin is bumped out of bounds. So he said to punch somebody. I thought that spoke loud and clear.
Yeah, I did too, particularly here at Miami, because there's always that dilemma of the fans and everyone around the program wanting that old Miami so-called swagger. You know, back in the day when they were really the most intimidating team. Defensively, they have hung in there. They have played the run pretty darn good today.
The Canes go for it on 4th down, and Lamar Miller with a cutback. And it looks like he has the first down. After Georgia Tech spent their final timeouts. Good job by Brandon Washington, the left tackle, to get a crackback block that freed up Miller for the cutback run, and he picks up the first down on 4th and 2.
Bunches.
#11 play of the drive. Miller brought down at the 21-yard line. Well, if we're going to give Miami this win, and it looks like it's pretty safe, these would be the updated standings. You can see now Georgia Tech dropping to 2-2 in the conference, and Miami only one game in the loss column behind Virginia and Virginia Tech. I mean, all of a sudden, Miami is very much back in the race in the Coastal Division. And one of these teams is going to play in the ACC championship game with a chance to go to a
12th
BCS
in the
game.
nation. So these next 2 weeks are going to be a challenge for Tech.
Mike James inside the 20-yard line, a gain of a couple. Steven Sylvester
that NBC contract exclusively. What a huge benefit that was. Just as an example, every game's on television now.
Flag down as Ja'Cory Harris tried to turn outside on a quarterback draw.
Let this clock run all the way down, even though it's just a 25-second clock coming off the penalty. Surprising that he would.
Ja'Cory Harris looks for Streeter in the end zone. Incomplete. Broken up by Lewis Young. First and 10, Georgia Tech at their own 22-yard line. Flags down. And that'll be a false start.
They get beat down a little bit.
Now they fumble the snap.
Yeah, this has been really a nightmare today for Georgia Tech. I mean, I've not seen a Paul Johnson team be this inefficient.
With an injury on the opening possession of the game for Georgia Tech. Tevin Washington, deflected ball, almost intercepted.
Yeah.
They're only 3 or 4 plays away from maybe being undefeated right now, and they're about to go above 500 with the win this afternoon. Tevin Washington throws one up for grabs, and it's incomplete. Try to throw it away.
I think they have a chance to really finish strong.
Sean Poole kicks it away. Benjamin, fair catch. With 2 minutes and 19 seconds to go as we take a look at what is to come for the Hurricanes and their next game right here in Miami against Virginia next weekend. A game we'll have for you on ESPN.
I mean, that's a good schedule finishing. You compare that to Georgia Tech's schedule with Clemson and Virginia Tech, the next 2.
In no rush on 2nd down and 9. James finds a crease. He's got a first down. And now Miami can get into their victory formation and take a knee. Every time you looked up, there was a Clemson player running into the end zone. Canes are enjoying a win, and, well, they should. They finally have their roster back and complete. As Olivier Vernon, defensive lineman, North Carolina, a pretty furious second-half comeback by the Tar Heels, and today, an impressive home win, really a dominant win by the Hurricanes over Georgia Tech. A final score that truly does tell the story of how good Miami was today. 24-7 is the final. And Al Golden.
Coach, your first 2-game win streak at the U. Yeah. What do you have to say about the way your defense stepped up?
We fought hard. I mean, it was a good team. Obviously, we defended the option really well and did enough, obviously, on offense and special teams to get the win.
How do you want your team to be defined at this point in the season? Kind of halfway, and you're finally getting your roster back.
Well, I think they got their identity now. I mean, they're competitors. You know, they compete regardless of what happens. If we make a mistake, we come back. You know, and we're just competing for 4 quarters. We won every quarter today. That was big. We hadn't done that yet.
2 big injuries, one on offense and one on defense. How does that set you up going into UVA?
Yeah, I don't know. We're going to find out more about them tomorrow. You know, again, I thought Felice was all right because the guys were kind of joking around.
Yeah, you called him a bad athlete.
Well, I mean, if you get hurt during a celebration, you're not a good athlete. That's that classification set. But hopefully he'll be back. He's a tough kid.
All right, I'll let you go loosen up your tie.
Thanks,
Coach. Guys.
All right, Samantha, thanks very much. So Al Golden gets to celebrate back-to-back ACC wins. 2-2 now in the Coastal Division. Again, our final, the Canes over Georgia Tech, 24-7. You can tune in tonight for more college football on ESPN2. Tennessee will take on number 2 Alabama. That at 7:15 p.m. And right here on ESPN, they'll kick it off at 8, East Lansing, number 6 Wisconsin, and number 16 Michigan State. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. So long from Miami. Now back to the studio. We check in with Reese Davis.